Everyone uses computers nowadays more and more, but not everyone necessarily learns how to defend them.
And we hear things like ransomware, and we hear things like lockdowns.
Everything in the future is going to be technologically linked.
We should not be waiting until you're a grown-up, a fully formed adult owning your own devices to find out how to work them properly.
So the value of Cyberpatriot is measured not only in the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math skills that are taught, but it's actually fulfilling a very urgent national need for cybersecurity talent.
The Cyberpatriot National Youth Cyber Education Program was created by the Air Force Association in 2009 to attract students to careers and academic opportunities in the cybersecurity and other STEM fields. At the center of the program is its annual National Youth Cyber Defense Competition, where teams of middle school and high school students are challenged to strengthen and defend simulated computer networks. Due in large part to the support of presenting sponsor, the Northrop Grumman Foundation, the Cyberpatriot competition field has grown nearly 30% each year, with more than 4,400 teams across the United States, Canada, and the DoD-dependent schools abroad registered to compete in Cyberpatriot 9.
In March of 2010, we became the presenting sponsor, and I can tell you right from the beginning, this program has exceeded all of our expectations. By being involved, we can really make a difference on a global level. We've had so many parents come up to us at the national competition and say, thank you for your sponsorship and your commitment.
Since my son has joined Cyberpatriot, I've seen a brand new level of excitement in regards to technology and wanting to understand technology. They're learning employable skills in middle school.
We hear from companies that they're recognizing Cyberpatriot on students' resumes, and they look for that. And it's exciting for us to know that what our program has done is working.
Cyberpatriot offers training materials and practice rounds, as well as help from local volunteer mentors. With these resources, competitors learn to defend a variety of operating systems and platforms from cyber attacks. Throughout the competitive season, Cyberpatriot teams are divided into the Open Division, All Service Division, and Middle School Division based on their organization type. The teams compete within their divisions in several online qualifying rounds, which challenge them to find and fix cybersecurity vulnerabilities in a variety of simulated networks. After the online rounds, the top 28 teams travel all expenses paid to the National Finals competition in Baltimore, Maryland, where they compete for their division's national championship title and for academic scholarships donated by Northrop Grumman Corporation.
Cyberpatriot is an amazing activity because anyone can start off.
You know, you might say I don't have computer skills, but I think you'll be surprised at what you can do.
It's really important in today's society because there's so many cyber attacks every single day. Like, who's going to stop it? That's us. We're going to stop it.
Cyberpatriot has just been a stepping stone. I've been able to increase the knowledge that I have, my skill set. I've expanded my understanding of the systems that interconnect us.
But at the same time, it's also fun seeing how you've truly grown, not just in technical skills, but as a person overall.
So when you come to the Cyberpatriot competition, you know that you're competing with the best minds in the country, so it's really exciting, really intense, really fast-paced.
The Cyberpatriot national finalist teams travel to compete live by undertaking various network security and forensics challenges that expose competitors to various elements of cybersecurity. In addition, the program requires participants pledge to act responsibly and ethically in the cybersphere while emphasizing online safety.
Participating in Cyberpatriot has really helped me find a potential career path.
I think it's a complete balance between fun and work. It teaches me a way to be secure on my devices.
Cyberpatriot allows students to come in and work together as a group. They are working together to solve problems that don't necessarily have obvious answers.
Working in a team, it's communicating, it's being able to trust your partners, your coworkers.
So I think it's really inspiring when you meet people who are in the industry and you're like, maybe I'm gonna be them one day.
It's a very challenging experience, but it's also very rewarding once you get to the finish.
And the All-Service Division National Champion is Colorado Springs Cadet Squadron, Team Wolfpack.
I I'm pleased to announce the national champions in the Open Division, North Hollywood High School Team Togo.
The Northrop Grumman Foundation has renewed its commitment as Cyberpatriot's presenting sponsor through 2019. Through this generous support, Cyberpatriot continues to expand and enhance the National Youth Cyber Education Program.
Kids are involved with electronics and technology and cyber at a very early age. They grow up with it, and so they need to know how to secure different things and what's a virus and what's malware.
The AFA Cyber Camp program keeps students engaged in cybersecurity during the summer months. And ESCI, the Elementary School Cyber Education Initiative, provides basic online education for the youngest of computer users, elementary students.
We realize that we're missing a big chunk of students who are using technology in their everyday lives, so we're looking to go bookend from kindergarten to senior year of high school.
Cyberpatriot is also launching 2 new educational programs in 2017, Cyber Generations, the Senior Citizens Guide to Cyber Safety, and the Cyber Education Literature Series, which will publish its first book aimed at teaching basic cybersecurity principles to a pre-K audience. Cyberpatriot competitors and alumni have enjoyed internship opportunities with Northrop Grumman, as well as others in industry and government.
The earlier that we can attract children to STEM disciplines, and especially females and underrepresented populations, the better chance we have of forming a more diverse workforce in cyber.
As our country strives to fill the critical need for cyber professionals, Cyberpatriot competitors are well equipped for the many opportunities that await them.
The growth that we see in our students is profound. They're learning teamwork, they're learning leadership skills, they're learning how to follow. Most employers want someone who knows how to solve a tough problem by being part of a team. And we think Cyberpatriot has data that supports we're generating exactly that kind of student.
Register now for the biggest competition of the year. Visit www.uscyberpatriot.org for more information on signing up for Cyberpatriot 10.
As you saw in the video, we are the National Youth Cyber Education Program. Next slide. So we are a program run by the Air Force Association. It's like AUSA but for the Air Force. And in 2009, in response to the 2008 Congressional Research Study, our board of directors got together and said, you know what, we're not graduating enough students to STEM. What can we do to help encourage students to pursue STEM education? And so they thought about a rocketry competition. There's a few of those out there, and they thought about other things. And somebody said, what about cybersecurity? So that's how Cyberpatriot was born. Next slide. So these are a few things that we are. We're the National Youth Cyber Education Program. The biggest thing that we do is run a National Youth Cyber Defense Competition. We also want to, our main goal is to attract students to STEM education. So while we definitely want them to pursue cybersecurity, if they go into nursing or another STEM field, we're equally okay with that. A few things that we're not is hacker training. Cyber ethics is a big component of our competition. It's the first training module that our teams go through. We don't want students to do something at 15 that's going to prevent them from getting a security clearance down the road. Hacking and hacker training is strictly forbidden from being taught, and if you hack in our competition, you're out. Another thing that we're not is a recruitment tool for the Air Force, the Army, or other DoD organizations. Certainly some of our teams go there, but cyber's a bigger problem. We need these at local businesses, and we need them at Google and other places as well. The original construct was a national high school cyber defense competition, but what we learned is that if you wait until high school to try and get students interested, we've waited too long. So we have a new construct, on the next slide, and that's a National Youth Cyber Defense Competition. So we pushed the competition down to the middle school level to try and attract students earlier. We also developed an elementary school program because students are getting online and they're using computers at an early age. My 3- and 4-year-olds use my iPad all the time. So we're trying to get students when they're actually starting to use the security, the tools, and make sure that they know who they should be sharing information with, how to secure different devices. And we also have an AFA Cyber Camp program that engages students and teams in the summertime. These are the skills that we teach, and while it's really easy to focus on the bottom ones, the cyber and system vulnerabilities, we actually think the cyber ethics and the teamwork are some of the most important things that we teach. The students that are interested in cybersecurity aren't members of the football team. They're not members of the basketball team. They're students who sit at home on the computer and don't interact with people. So maybe this is one of their first opportunities that they've had to really engage as part of a team. And employers and colleges, and they look for that. You saw in the video that was our last year's competition, Cyberpatriot 9. We just finished registration for this season, and we registered 5,554 teams this year. Of those teams, about 50% of them are in our open division, which is open to public high schools. And then we have an all-service division, which is about 30% of our competition, and 20% of our competition is middle school teams. This is the map that shows where the teams are dispersed across the country. As you can see, it's pretty well represented. Go next slide. Female outreach is one of our main goals. We do that in several different ways. We waive the fee for all girl teams. There's usually a $205 registration fee. If you're an all-girls team, we'll waive that fee. We also know that it's important for females to see themselves represented. So in our monthly Cyber Sentinel and in other publications that we do, we always try and make sure that there's female stories so that women can see themselves being represented. And because of those initiatives, we have a 23% female participation rate. That's about double the national average, which is 12. Minority outreach is also one of our strong goals, and we have about a 42% of minority participation rate in Cyberpatriot 8 and 9. We reach out to a lot of urban areas, and one of the ways we do that is through our centers of excellence. These are our 11 centers of excellence that we have across the country. You'll see that LA and San Antonio are two of our biggest ones. They always have a competition every year to see who can register the most teams. San Antonio's won the past 2 years. They've registered about 50 more teams, and then they have another competition who can bring the most to our national finals competition. We have 2 high school competition divisions. The open division is open to any public, private, parochial, charter, magnet school, as well as youth organizations like Boys and Girls Clubs, 4-H, scouting units. And then we have an all-service division. This kind of is a nod to our Air Force Association heritage. So junior ROTCs of Air Force, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, as well as Civil Air Patrol, and the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps can register teams in this division. And then our middle school division is open to any middle school aged youth organization or school. This is the timeline for Cyberpatriot 10. So the little diamonds represent our training or practice rounds, and then the stars are our competition rounds. We're sort of in our last practice round, and then in the 4 weekends, the 4 stars that you see, teams compete from their home locations in a 6-hour competition. And we give them any 6-hour period they want to pick in that weekend, and they compete from their home locations. So go to the next slide. What they compete on is, we call them a competition image, and it basically looks like a normal computer system, but there are vulnerabilities that we've pre-configured within it. So maybe every port on the firewall is open and they need to set better settings. We're giving them a scenario, which is a README file, and it'll give them clues and hints on where to start. If it's an email server, it has to maintain internet connection. You can't shut down the firewall so strong that nobody can get out with email. Another thing that it might be is it'll say who's, they're put in the position of a system administrator at a small business. So it'll say, here's the current employees. So they'll compare that to the active user directory, and they'll say, hey, this person was fired 4 months ago, but he still has an account. You need to delete that and you'll earn points. There's a little scoring client within the images, and it reports back to us how the teams are doing. Hey, the team in Kansas fixed the firewall issue, they get 5 points. Oh, they unfixed fix the firewall issue, they lose 5 points. We also have a Cisco networking challenge component to our competition. For the high school age, they'll do packet tracer as well as a quiz, and for middle school, it's just a quiz. So what we learned is that teams were asking us, they'd come to us over the summer and they'd say, I don't want to wait for the competition, what can I do now? So we launched our AFA Cyber Camp program. And it's where organizations can purchase our curriculum package, and over 4 days, for 4 hours a day, they teach this curriculum. And then the 5th day is a mini competition where the students can actually engage in what they've learned all week into the competition, sort of like our So this is for novice students, and if it's for introductory, it can be 6th to 12th grade. Most 12th graders are probably going to know a lot of what is being taught in here. If you've participated in Cyberpatriot, this is going to be under you. This is the basics of what you need to know for the competition. So if you've already competed, you probably already know all of the stuff. We're in our 3rd full season of AFA Cyber Camps, and we had 160 Cyber Camp locations this summer. We had 7 sessions that organizations were able to host these camps within. We also launched an advanced camp. So this is for the students who'd already participated in Cyberpatriot, who have already been through a camp. This is a more advanced, more technical stuff that they're going to learn for our competition. So we piloted that in 3 locations, and we got great feedback. So we'll be doing a full launch of that in the summer of 2018. We also learned, that the AFA ESCI program, the elementary school students are getting online earlier and earlier. So we had to create something for those students to help them learn. Competition wasn't really the right tool, so what we developed, we call them training modules. They're really games that the students can get online and play. Now, a parent or a grandparent or an educator can download these games from our website and then use them to teach cybersecurity principles. We have 3 ones. One of them is for, it's called Cybersecurity Showdown, and it's for grades K through 2nd grade, and it's really more, who should you share information with online? More cyber safety type things. And then for the older grades, 3 through 6, we have 2 different ones. One's called JeffOS, and the other is called Packet Protector. And it teaches them the basics of cybersecurity. What's malware? What's a virus? How can you protect against those things? Being AFA, our average member age is 68, and we realized 68-year-olds maybe didn't grow up and didn't have cybersecurity in their jobs or in their things. So they're a big target population that's targeted for email marketing scams or phishing schemes, stuff like that. So we kind of said, what can we do to train those people on how to stay safe online? So one of the things we're doing is launching a Cyber Generations program, and it's the Senior Citizens Guide to Cyber Safety. And it'll go over password hygiene. What's a strong password? How often should you change it? Should you have the same password for every site that you log into? Also, malware and ransomware, marketing schemes, phishing schemes, phishing schemes, making sure that these people know what they are, how to spot them so that they don't fall victim. But if they do, we're also going to provide resources for the victims so that they can know where to go to, get some of this stuff back. So we'll have 2 things. One of them is a self-paced guide that anybody can access online, but then our AFA chapters can also request to host a Cyber Generations program. It'll be about an hour and a half, and they'll have some slides that go with it so that they can instruct people as well. The second thing that we're launching this year is the Elementary Cyber Education Literature Series, and it's for pre-K reader. The first book is called Sarah the Cyber Hero, and Sarah's in a family of cyberheroes, or of superheroes, and you have to earn your cape by saving the day, and Sarah hasn't saved the day yet. And so she's learning about ESCI in her elementary school, and her brother accidentally downloads a virus and infects the family's computer, and he sends an email that downloads it onto his friends' networks and everything else. And Sarah is able to use what she's learned in school through ESCI to save the day and earn her cape and protect the computer. So So we do an alumni survey every 2 years, and this says, how are we doing in our ultimate goal, which is drawing students to STEM? So these are the age of the respondents from our last survey in July of 2016. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but most of the people who answer the survey are the 15 to 18-year-olds. What we've learned is that once a student graduates from high school, they use a different email account, and it's really hard for us to reach out to them and get their feedback. But we do have some that do. The gender makeup of the people who answer the survey is about 23% female, so it roughly follows along with our competition makeup. So of the students that are still enrolled in high school, we ask them, what are your post-high school plans? And 88% of the people who participate in Cyberpatriot are going to go on to a 4-year program. We then ask them, what do you plan to study when you go to that 4-year program? And 88% said that they were going to go into a STEM field. 14% is the national average for those who pursue STEM education. We then said, within STEM, what specific do you plan to study? 25% said that they were going to study a cybersecurity field. 35% said they were going to do a computer science field, and 28% pursued another STEM field. Of those that have already graduated, who are currently employed, we asked them, where are you currently employed? And 69% said that they were in the computer science field, 14% in a cybersecurity field, and 9% in another STEM field. And then the bottom graph represents where they're currently employed. Most of them are in the private sector, with about 5% in the military and 21% in the non-military public sector. We know that correlation isn't necessarily causation. So we asked the participants, how much did your Cyberpatriot experience influence what you were going to study? And 50% said that it somewhat influenced them, but 42% said that it significantly influenced what they were going to pursue. This is the list of our sponsors. The Northrop Grumman Foundation is our presenting sponsor. That's all I have. Does anybody have questions for me? All right, thank you.